Welcome back, everybody, to the next segment of our IG Live series that I'm lovingly calling the Celebration Series, because podcast babes are international best-selling authors. #1 in the United States, #1 in the United Kingdom, #1 in Canada, and #1 in Australia, baby, and probably more places. I haven't figured out how to check all the different countries, but we are international bestsellers, Amazon bestsellers. It's been amazing, such a great ride. I cannot wait to talk with our next author, somebody who has been so absolutely instrumental in this entire thing, really helped me with the emails and putting together the manuscript and sending out the invites for these IG lives and so many things that she really helps to create and to spearhead. So let's get her on here. My Sabeena. Let's see. Here we go. You know what? We may have to do Jessica next. Hi, everybody. There she is. I didn't see the little green dot by her name, and I got nervous. I'm like, where is she?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
I can, beautiful lady. I was just telling everybody how much you help behind the scenes with this. Like, for all the podcast babes that know, and for those that don't know, like, you helped hunt everybody down for the Google form to find everybody's information. You did all the emails, the Google calendars for the IG lives. You collected all the entries and then sent them out to the different editors and then collected them and then sent them back to who they needed to be sent back to, and then recollected them and then compiled the manuscript for me, and then sent it to me, and then I edited it, and then I sent it back to you, and like, this is the order we're going to put them in. So you did so much work, like so much work. And so I just really want to take this moment to acknowledge you for doing that, because I could not have done all of those things all by myself.
I think well, first of all, thank you. But I think you're being very kind. And I have to say that this whole project, our book, is a collective effort. And there's so much behind the scene that each one of us did, which probably isn't seen, but you know, the underneath the surface kind of thing, the collective power, it's still there. And I was telling you yesterday that there's so much you've done, which we don't even know. And probably like, okay, I can't even, I don't have capacity to even wrap my arm around how much you did. I don't know even if you slept or not, to be honest with you. Because when it was like midnight my time, you were still like texting me within a second, texting me back within a second. I'm like, are you sleeping at all? But I think it would be very, very unfair if, you know, we say that, okay, it happened because of us, because I know that everyone, each of the 22 podcast babes, their family member had to be taken care of, but they were still writing and
Yeah.
communicating, and it's a very collective effort, and I could
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Such a collective effort. So #1, there were definitely sleepless nights. Definitely, without a doubt. But yes, like, we had podcast babes who were editing and jumping on Zooms with people, having their partners edit, having their partners help us with the strategy of how to get to bestseller, and giving us tips and creating videos for us. And it was just like, and then we had other podcast babes that had just done a summit, like the
Yeah.
2 weeks before, right? So there were podcast babes who were like, just finished one of my other crazy projects, and then we're doing this crazy project, this beautifully crazy project with me, and we were just like in it and going, and the energy, and it definitely took a lot, right? And then we had other podcast babes who like spearheaded the social media thing together, like the amount of outpouring. Others helped me with resources of like talking to lawyers, like, how does this work? How do we create an anthology? Like, what is this? Like, so many of us just poured into us. Every single person truly contributed something, not just a little bit, like grandness to this project.
For sure. And look at the result, right? They speak for themselves. Like, we are international bestsellers in multiple categories, and I'm still not being able to just soak it and like, is this happening for real? Like, I don't know how to, am I supposed to be doing something? I don't know. Like, okay, all right. It still doesn't feel real. I think the results have spoken for themselves, and the reviews that we're getting in Amazon, it's a testimony to the hard work each of us has put into the chapters, right? So I'm like feeling very grateful and blessed, but also kudos to you. Like, look at like this, the workshop that we did. That was your third bigger workshop this year, right? So I don't know how you kind of managed even like the back-to-back sequencing of these events and finally coming up with the bug. I really want to know, did you really think through point A to Z? I mean, like alphabet Z, not the Z, our Z. Like, did you really think through this, or it was just like, universe, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave room for some magic and you make it happen? Was it like that? How'd you do it?
There was definitely a little bit of both of that. So I happen to be a Virgo. And Virgos, we think about a lot of things. So I definitely am constantly thinking of the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So anytime anybody talks to me, I don't even realize that I'm doing it, but I'm like, I have a plan for this, and then after this we're gonna do this, and after this we're gonna do this. And at the same time, there's also a lot of room for universe, because sometimes people start asking me questions, like, because of the fact that when they ask me I have all these plans, they think
Yeah.
that I have all the answers and I don't. And I'm thinking, like, I don't freaking know. I don't know how we're gonna do this. I'm just I'm just praying and hoping that it happens. Like, we're gonna figure it out along the way. So it's a combination of both, definitely.
Yeah. And I feel guilty of bombarding you with questions. Like, I know you're busy, but I gotta ask you this. I gotta run this through you. I'm sorry, but here are 5 questions. So,
The questions help me think sometimes, because I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that. I need to come up with a plan for that.
wow. Wow. This is truly amazing. Amazing.
It is. So now looking like for I what I love about these interviews, these three, is that like before it was, we didn't know what was gonna happen. We had a visualization and a knowing that it was going to happen, but it was the past, right? So now we're looking back at this success. And so from that perspective, do you have anything to say about either something that helped you got you through, like a ritual, or some kind of visualization, or something that you did to kind of get this success here?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. Also very beautiful question. I think it's a lot of self-talk because when I was working on the chapter, there was a lot of moments of self-doubt. Like I would write it and I'm like, who's going to read this? Like, why does it even matter? Girl, delete it, delete it. You can't. What will dad say? What will my best friend say? What will they say? It was a lot of I would still say limited beliefs. Like Z was saying, I thought I was healed, but there's still left. Like, I don't know. When is this gonna end, right? I thought like healing was all about like bubble bath in Bali and breath work and meditation, and it was gonna be this very peaceful journey, but it wasn't like that. So I think I struggled with a lot of negative self-talk or like my own voice pulling me down. But now I think the way that I talk to myself has changed. And writing the chapter has really helped me look at my own journey as a second person and say, you know, make some changes that I need to because I wasn't seeing that myself before. So the way that I talk has definitely changed. Um, I think I feel I blame myself less. I'm less self-critical of myself. Uh, so that would be a ritual that I continue to practice that, okay, the minute that I am aware that something's criticizing or some kind of voice comes in, I'm like, okay, the old programming has kicked in. I gotta be present, maybe take a couple of inhale or go out, move, take a walk or run, and then immediately shift different state, right? Like Tony said in the UPW, that switching of state in microsecond was such a powerful ritual that I picked up and done it every single moment, I would say, since the past weekend with the UPW.
I love that. I love that. And I love how, so you were one of the podcast babes that won a ticket to come to UPW, which was amazing. And I think that we come from the same worlds, but as much as I love Joe Dispenza, because I also read his books and study his work, you had been going more to Joe Dispenza retreats, and I had been going more to the world of Tony Robbins. And I love bringing you in to that experience of Tony, and then you brought a lot of Joe Dispenza into our program, right? Because during the talk, I remember when you started talking, I was like, this is so cool because she's bringing all of her Joe Dispenza skills from all those retreats into her keynote presentation. And I just thought to myself, like, what a divine sequence, right? That you were doing that work, going to those retreats, and then coming to Tony, and then like taking all that you've learned and then bringing it to your keynote and giving it to our viewers and listeners and readers as a gift. So beautiful.
Mm. Yeah, I think it's very interesting you say that because honestly, I don't remember which one's the influence part of Joe Dispenza and which one's from Tony. Because when I first think of my first person that I looked up to in the personal development journey, it was Jim Rohn. You know, like how he used to say this was back in like 2017 or 2018. He used to
Yeah.
say like, stay guard in the door of your mind and things like that. So I think that's how it led me to Tony Robbins. And I read his book, The Awaken the Giant Within. I did there's like workshop within the book, right? Like you have to
Yeah.
write a list of those things. So I think I don't recall at what point I was more like shifting towards more of Joe Dispenza's work and his meditations, and that really intrigued me to go in depth. And I did his 7-day retreat. So I feel like I'm at a point, probably I have learned to embody a little bit of Joe and Tony's work. So I'm like a mix of it. I can't see the difference, but to
Yeah.
me, both of those are, I don't know, if there were God in the form of human being, that's what I would say, you know? So yeah, but I don't recall what I said in my keynote speech. It felt like somebody else took over me and I just led that whole thing for me. I don't remember.
I love it. I love it. And I really do feel that way. In the back of our book, I just went on a rampage of listing all the mentors that have come into my life and that you guys have had in your life. And there are so many. And there's so many that I know that I haven't listed because I kept on adding and kept on adding. I'm like, what about this person? What about this person? And I know that there's people that I missed. But I truly feel that we are a product of all of those different mentors, all of those different thought processes. And I think that that's the beauty of it, is
Hmm.
that they teach us and then we can take it and transform it to be our own and then give it to somebody else. I think that that's the process that we're following. And that feels so good to be in that lineage because Tony learned from Jim. And if you look at some of the other mentors that I listed, they've learned from some of the other people. And it's just beautiful to kind of just see that continuing to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And then, when I went to in the UPW event, I could see how you are, the way you speak and the things that you say and the key, the phrases that you use. I can say that, you are a perfect product of the Tony Robbins. Because I was like, he was saying something like, this is what Kat would say. This is what Kat says. I think Tony probably took it from Kat. I don't know. But I think it just happens over time, right? We just observe things and it's not like a conscious decision, like I'm going to start saying this or I'm going to, start following certain things. It just happens automatically.
I take all the things from Tony Robbins. I steal all of his stuff. I really do because I've been following him since I'm 13. And in my delusional
Oh,
world, I'd like to say that he somehow takes things from me too. Because I'm like, wait a minute, that's something that I say. How did you get that?
wow, 13. Okay, that's a really long time.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's a fun story that I'll say another time. But basically the bullet point version is that my stepdad ordered his tapes from TV, and that's
Hmm.
how I learned about him. I just was like, who is this guy that's speaking so differently on the TV? I've never heard these kinds of words. And the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah. He's a very powerful person, I must say. I think he has a very hypnotic capability, you know. Like
Yeah.
I think like I felt really drawn and without realizing what I was doing. I think he's got a I mean, he's not Tony Robbins for no reason, right? He's
That's
an amazing.
that's the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, NLP, which is what he originally studied to become a coach, that is very heavily based on Ericksonian hypnotherapy, which is also something that I'm certified in. They're two separate things, but NLP is heavily influenced by that.
Mm.
So there's definitely some hypnotic subconscious things happening, and thank God he's a force for good, right? Because
Yes, yes. I'm thinking I just for my personal um awareness as well. I would love to learn more about NLP. I think I'm really, really interested in that.
absolutely. Well, my recommendation then is to go into Joseph McClendon's
Mm,
neuroencoding because he's also somebody that is my mentor and that I have been learning from, and he takes NLP and makes it his own. So that's my recommendation.
mm. That's
We could
yes,
do that together.
for sure. I would love to. Love to do
Yes.
that.
I'm
Let's talk
I'm
it.
yes, I'm just a baby in his world. I just started becoming a neuroencoder. So one thing that blew me away about his community was how they really focus on speaking on stage. That's how I met Cindy and Yayoi.
Mm.
And so I think that that's a perfect route for many of us podcast babes.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I'm so glad I'm part of this community. I already have friends who are like, how do I become part of your tribe? Like, how do I become part of your inner circle, right? So I mean, I've been telling them about our podcast, Babes community, what we do, and the kind of projects that we've been working on, you know, and the folks that I've met. So I see so much interesting things happening for us in future, right? Like you said, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, tell them to come on down, baby. Right now, Podcast Babes is a community that you have to know somebody. But if you feel like you're interested, come in and slide into our DMs and we'll find out if it's a fit for you.
Woohoo! Amazing! How exciting! We're
Yes,
growing so fast.
we really are. And honestly, thank you so much for really putting all your heart and all your love into this because I know that you have been so helpful and a lot of these things could not have been done without you, and it comes from your willingness to be of service also. So thank you so much for that, my love.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, Kat, for leading as example. I think a lot of time we are mirroring each other. We're also learning from each other, right? And I was saying yesterday that how you've been such a great example of leadership. You never um, it doesn't sound like you're, you know, asking things to do, but you have a really interesting way of putting things into perspective, and we automatically want to do it. Um, and then there are times where I'm like, I don't understand what this means, but you never make us feel bad in any way, you know, compared to like other leaders we've seen and worked with. So you always bring the best. You always bring the best in each one of us, and I'm
Aww.
sure all the babes can relate to that. So that's something that I'm really, really grateful for and appreciate you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you too, my love, and I'm so excited for all the things coming next.
Yes.
Woo!
Woohoo.
I love you so much, honey bunches. Thank you for being here with me today. And for the rest of you watching, don't go away because we have our last author of this interview series. Not the last of us, because you're going to have to find us on Podcast Babes Unscripted for more of our podcasting adventures. But we have one more interview to have for tonight, and I will see you then. Thank you for
Thank you.
showing up and being so wonderful, Sabeena. I love you.
Thank you, Kat. Love you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.